I don't believe having a personal brand is a choice. I feel like it's a default. It's something you already have, and it's just a case of whether you're going to be intentional about it or not. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking you through how you can do that both online and offline. So if you don't know me already, I'm Savannah, and I've been building my personal brand intentionally for the past 5 years. So I started during lockdown, as most of us started something in lockdown, and essentially it's taken me up until now. And during this time, I've learned how crucial it actually is and how much it impacts. So for me, I'm a huge advocate of people being intentional about building a personal brand, because I do believe, as I said, whether you intend to or not, you definitely have one. And I think the more intentional you are about it, the more control you can have over it, and the more you can use it for your benefit. Your personal brand is kind of like your reputation. It follows you everywhere. It speaks about you before you speak about yourself. It's the way people perceive you. All these different things go into a personal brand. So online, there's a lot of talk about personal brands, and you can probably see how that manifests itself on the internet. But in person, it's just as important, and it works the same. Let's say, for example, you're going to go to a networking event. As soon as you walk in that room, someone's going to be judging you. Whether you like it or not, I think you can be a little bit more in control over that judgment. So for example, some people have very distinctive aesthetic styles. For me, I built my personal brand around having curly hair for a really long time. So when I went places, I would deliberately wear my natural hair curly and out. Even if the day before I had it slipped back into a bun, I'd make the effort to make sure when I go to a certain event, it's going to be out and curly, because that's what I want people to remember me for. Not just for the hair, but it just goes into being remembered, if that makes sense. And now that I'm 5 years into my journey, I've seen how having a personal brand has impacted me in some very positive ways. I feel like if it wasn't for my personal brand, I don't believe I'd be where I am today, and I probably would be doing something different, and I'd be doing okay, but I don't think I'd be doing as well. And on top of that, it's meant that I've also been able to kind of like relax at times. So being self-employed, not worry about when the next kind of job's going to come in, because my personal brand's been working for me even when I haven't been working. So as much as it seems like a daunting thing initially when you're trying to build it at first, I definitely believe it's one of those things that are well worth the effort, because it's going to compound and you're going to reap those benefits 10 times more later on. Now, the first point I want to touch on is consistency, which sounds super cliche, super boring. Consistency, everyone talks about consistency, especially when it comes to like building an online presence. But consistency is literally key. You have to consistently show up as a person that you want to be remembered for, so that it can start to stick and people remember you to be that person. If you speak about one thing another day and speak about another thing another day, and then don't show up for 2 weeks and then speak about something else, there's no consistency. And don't get me wrong, your personal brand might be built based on the fact that you're inconsistent, and that's definitely possible, but it's probably not what you're intending to do. So I definitely think consistency is where you should start. In order to be consistent, it starts with having a plan and acting that plan. So take a step back before you start, kind of like do a mind map of what do you want to be known for, what are your morals and values, what do you want to be remembered for, who are you, what are you trying to achieve. Do a mind map of all these things and then work backwards. So if you're trying to elevate your online presence, have a content plan, have a schedule, know when you're filming, when you're editing, when you're posting. If those things are too much, get some help, outsource it, get an editor, get a social media marketing assistant if you need help actually planning how this is going to play out. And even if it's just for the next 2 weeks, so you don't overwhelm yourself, just start building that habit and then slowly increase that. Maybe then plan for a month and then stick to that consistently. And I feel like planning in advance means that you're just not going to go all over the place. If you have a plan that you're sticking to, you're not going to deviate too much from what you're actually trying to achieve, and then again it adds to the consistency. Make sure that you're always aligning with your brand image. Now, something that's really important to me is evolution. It's something that I didn't necessarily plan for, and by evolution I mean the natural evolution of your personal brand and you as a person. So when I started social media, I intended to use it as a marketing tool for modelling. So in my head, I wasn't getting that many modelling jobs through my agency, so I thought if I start posting more on social media, I can maybe get some more direct modelling jobs. I don't have to rely on my agency. And to be honest, that took me somewhere I didn't necessarily originally intend in terms of working with a lot of hair brands. That wasn't my intention initially. It definitely wasn't on social media. I thought that what I was doing it for was to get booked for modelling jobs. I pivoted because I seen an opportunity and I went with it. However, as I said, I didn't necessarily intend for that to happen. And now that I'm older, I'm 5 years on from when I first started, I'm literally just naturally a different person now. I've grown so much, I'm into different things. My hair isn't predominantly what I do anymore. Before, I was literally just sitting down in my room doing my hair. That was authentic to my brand, and now I'm not. So I've had to kind of evolve, and with that has come a drop in engagement, a drop in followers, a drop in interest, people being unsure about who I am because my personal brand has changed, and that's just because I've changed. So my advice to anyone wanting to build a personal brand is just be aware that it's going to change, it's going to evolve all the time, and just be okay with that. It's fine. And if you just stick to being your authentic self, I feel like you won't have to have as much problems with it as someone else that kind of like is defined by the engagement that they're getting, if that makes sense. So essentially I just kind of want to warn you that evolving your brand isn't always a smooth transition, and it definitely can have a knock-on effect on how you feel about yourself if you're noticing that your personal brand isn't doing what it used to do, because I've definitely experienced that and I'm still experiencing that, and I'm in the transitioning stage of that. So I'm okay with it now. I've understood what's going on even though I didn't plan for it. I've been able to be like, okay, wait a second, pause. This is happening because I've transitioned as a person, I'm transitioning my content, and of course the people that were interested in what I was doing before are not interested now, and that's absolutely fine. What I'm trying to do now is attract more people that are interested in what I want to do now and who I am now. So yeah, I would just say don't let the drop off discourage you. It's just a natural part of the process and it has no impact on the value that you bring. Showing up intentionally online is one thing, and showing up intentionally offline should be the same thing. Essentially, I was going to say it's another thing, but it's not. It should actually be the same thing. The same way you are consistent with your online presence should be the same way you're consistent with your offline presence. Whether it's an event, a meeting, or a casual interaction, people are going to be perceiving you a certain way, and that is also a part of your personal brand. I feel like a lot of people focus on the online and neglect the fact that in person you can still be doing things to strengthen your personal brand and what you're known for and what you're recognised for. So for me, like I said earlier, some of that was my appearance, so wearing my hair curly. I wanted to be remembered for the girl that had curly hair so that other people could remember me when things come up that would suit me. So for example, if it was like a modelling job and someone wanted someone with afro curly hair, they'd remember me. And that actually did happen at times, to be honest, so it definitely worked. But aside from getting work, I think it's just also good to just be intentional about how you present yourself to the world, and I think it has a knock-on effect to your confidence. If you're really sure about how you present yourself, you're going to naturally talk with a little bit more confidence. You're going to be a little bit more sure about what you're asking for in certain scenarios. If it's at a networking event, you're going to be sure about the type of people that you want to connect with and what you're trying to gain, because it all just goes into one part, which is the part of intention, and I'm super big on intention. If you're super confident online but in person you're super shy and you don't want to introduce yourself to people, they need to align. If you're shy online and shy in person, then fine, that's part of your personal brand, is being shy. But if you're super confident online but super quiet in person, we need some alignment. So yes, top tip is just make sure that you're thinking about your personal brand offline as well as online. How are you presenting yourself and what are you doing to strengthen your personal brand? Now I just wanted to dive a little bit deeper into the power of authenticity when it comes to your brand. So on one hand, authenticity is going to help you not get lost in it. It can be something that you spend a lot of time creating, but actually it doesn't necessarily always need to be that way, because if you're being authentic, it's going to be a lot easier for you to find what feels natural and what's going to work for you. So for me, as I mentioned, I transitioned from only doing hair content, only doing beauty content, and now I'm doing a little bit more of like self-development, entrepreneurship, and that's what feels natural to me. But for a long time I was fighting against the grain. I'm forcing these hair videos out and these beauty videos out, and it wasn't necessarily enjoyable for me anymore because it was the only thing I was doing. And don't get me wrong, I'm always going to love hair and beauty because it's just part of who I am. But now the way I tie it into my brand is more true to who I am and to what I enjoy. So now I might do a video about getting ready for a meeting as opposed to me just sitting at home and doing my hair like I said earlier. Just don't do that anymore. I'm a busybody, I'm always out. So I've just kind of like tweaked what I do to fit who I am a little bit more. And as a result, it strengthened who I am as a person because I don't have to kind of have this online presence and then the real me, because they're actually one. But again, like I said, it took me a while to realise that's what I was doing, because I was trying to keep this online persona that I've built and the account that I've built, and it almost became a separate thing to me, and I had to combine them again for it to make sense and for it to work. As well as that, people are very privy to what is authentic and what is not. Like, they're going to be able to suss out whether you're being authentic or not very quickly, which will also have an impact on the amount of community you're able to build, because if you're not authentic, you're probably not likely to build as strong as a community as someone that is authentic. So on one hand, it's going to just be easier for you to be authentic anyway. On the other hand, it's going to be more beneficial for you to build community being authentic. So I hope I'm making sense, but long story short, across the board, just be yourself. It just makes things easier. So how to stay intentional and purposeful with your brand. I'm going to give you 3 main tips. Define what you want for your personal brand and what you stand for. This should come very naturally to you. For me right now, I'm all about empowerment. I want to empower other women and men, to be fair. I want to empower other people to just go for whatever they want to go for. Number 2, create content and show up in ways that reflect those values. So this is where it will be the most time consuming and probably the most difficult and will require the most work. It's not going to just come naturally necessarily unless you're a really creative person. But use inspiration from Pinterest. I love Pinterest. I'm a very visual person, so I like to see visually what I want to recreate, but also finding people that are doing what you're doing and connecting with them. Conversations really help to spark creativity. And number 3, make sure your brand is authentic and evolves with you. So as you grow, your brand grows, and as you change, your brand changes. So yeah, I didn't want to go into too much depth in this video. I kind of want to just scratch the surface. Remember, your personal brand is there whether you're intentional about it or not. The key is to take control of it, be consistent, and allow it to evolve as you evolve. I hope this video was helpful if you're someone that's been considering wondering whether you need to start a personal brand or not. First of all, yes you do, because you already have one. So now it's time to just start being intentional with it. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.